Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Development Management Review Committee discussing the appeal on the Duntroon crematorium. Our last meeting was on the 22nd of August, excuse me, and this committee was minded at the time to uphold the appeal subject to consideration of a list of conditions yet to be agreed, and this is the purpose of our meeting today. We must be satisfied that in our minds these conditions adequately mitigate any concerns previously discussed and considered appropriate by members of this committee. Just as a start, these...
Apologies, Convener, sorry, I know that you're mid-flow. Can we just go through the formal process of apologies and any declarations of interest, please?
Yeah, sorry about that, just too enthusiastic. Yeah, we'll go back to the main report first of all. So first of all, yeah, if we just have, we've given permission for this meeting to be broadcast live on YouTube and for people to attend remotely. If they can remember to keep their microphones on mute, please, and raise their hand if they wish to speak. Do we have any apologies for today's meeting?
Thank you, Convener. No apologies.
I didn't think so. Thanks very much. In that case, we can move on with all that. Oh yes, has any members of this committee got any conflict of interest or transparency statements? Can't see any hands. No. Okay, I think we can move on. As I say, the conditions we're going to look at today, and members have had an opportunity to review all of these already, but they were to help consider as a bit of a background that the conditions had to adequately mitigate concerns. These concerns included, but was not restricted to, the following. One, with regard to the C4 Kingenny to Duntroon Road along the length of the site. Despite there being sufficient space for two vehicles to pass one another comfortably, it was suggested that if the application was to proceed, that mitigation regarding increasing the road width might be necessary. Two, at the junction of the Kingenny to Duntroon C4 road with the unclassified U315, it was noted that a passing place may be required at the bend before the junction itself. Three, further south from here, at the junction of the B978 with the U315, which is the route expected that most traffic will approach and leave the site. Despite being unclassified, this road is fairly straight and certainly wide enough for two passing vehicles, although the applicant is offering to construct passing places on this road. Visibility at the junction currently is 150 metres looking north and 110 metres to the south. Within the road speed restricted to 40 miles per hour, as per the recent Communities Committee decision, then recommended visibility is 120 metres, but 110 metres might be considered acceptable. In addition, mitigation could be sought to direct drivers to use this more accessible route to approach the site, as the U315 from the B978, with or without mitigation, provides a very accessible route to the site with minimum disruption. The Council Road Service acknowledges the increase in traffic flows is not expected to cause capacity and queuing issues. However, planning conditions would be required to secure improvements to the road network were the development to go ahead. Angus Council Roads Department have said roads are largely typical of rural Angus, and proposals to either widen roads, improve sight lines and visibility displays, or provide passing places will help to address this. And lastly, reservations have been expressed with access to the site from the west, and feel mitigation might be required, although might not be in the gift of this committee. So, members have had an opportunity to consider the draft conditions ahead of today, and I would ask if they have any comments or any additions or amendments to the draft conditions shown in the appendix to report 299/24. Now, before we actually go to each of these and any potential amendments, I'm just going to go through the conditions for completeness and ask members to actually intervene if they have any concerns with each of them all. The more standard ones, conditions 1, 2 and 3, first of all. Have anybody got any issues on any of these? No. Okay, condition 4 deals with the scheme of hard and soft landscaping works and has a number of subsections to it. Is everyone happy with condition 4?
Happy, Chair.
Thank you. And then condition 5, that prior to the commencement of development, a visibility display shall be provided at the junction of the proposed site access with the C4 Moneyfield Kilkenny Duntroon Road, giving a minimum sight distance of 120 metres in each direction at a point 4.5 metres from the near side channel line of the Moneyfield Kilkenny Duntroon Road C4. That in itself I'm okay with, but I would like to make an amendment to these conditions. We did discuss on our site visit that and was a concern that the road we thought required to be widened along the extent of the site itself. And we did discuss at the time potentially that being 6 metres wide, and the land to the north is clearly in the ownership of the applicant. I would like to extend that, and I'd like to move that we extend that to 7 metres rather than 6 metres to allow sufficient room for traffic, occasional farm traffic and things that are wider than normal vehicles and etc. So, Councillor Clark, you happy to second that?
Happy to second that, Chair.
Are the other members of the committee happy to agree that?
Yes.
Okay, Councillor Stewart, you're nodding, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Gall. Okay, so condition 5, I am submitting here that prior to the commencement will be amended to say that prior to commencement of development, the carriageway of the Moneyfield Kilkenny Duntroon Road C4 shall be widened to a nominal width of 7 metres over the entire site frontage as shown in drawing A/190889-901 revision A. Okay. Moving on the conditions, condition 6 refers to the visibility display at the junction of the U315 with the B978. Any comments on that one? Are we all quite happy with that?
Happy, Chair.
Okay. Condition 7 again refers is attached to that. It refers to the above the previous mentioned visibility display, and that no planting will be allowed to grow to a height in excess of 1,050 millimetres. I think we're all happy with that one. Yep. Condition 8. Rather than me read it all out again. Again, this is really for scheme of improvement, construction details. Again, we've read through that one. Anything on that one for anybody?
Happy, Chair.
Okay, good. Right. Now, there was some number 9. That one was regarding the road signs and on the construction, and the development won't commence until planning authority to give the scheme in writing. There was some talk here about sustainable travel, which I know we, at the last meeting, we considered was delete, but Councillor Gall, you may want an amendment. Go ahead.
Thank you, Convener. I'd like to add in, I agree with condition 9, but I'd like to add in the provision of a bus stop. Obviously, we spoke at large about the demographic of a rural county like Angus, but I think given the option for the provision to be there if and when public transport or a service was available, I think would be a good addition to that condition going forward.
Happy to second that, Chair, if you want.
Can you put your microphone on, Councillor Dunn? Did you say something just now, Councillor Dunn?
I'd be happy to second that.
Oh, okay. So I think the wording of the addition to that the condition.
Sorry, Councillor Stewart.
Oh, Councillor Stewart has left for a moment. We need him on. Right, he's still there, Tom. Right. Sorry.
Sorry, I had somebody at the front door.
Sorry. Can't do this. Apologies about that. Right, Councillor's back. Okay, sorry. So the condition to be amended or added to saying the building hereby approved shall not be brought into use unless a travel plan has been submitted and will include a proposed new bus stop to be installed at the entrance to development. Is that sufficient for you, Councillor Gall?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, and the wording, happy, if everyone's happy with that wording for the condition to be amended? Okay.
Convener, can I just pop in there? Of
course.
I think with regard to the last edition that you were talking about under condition 5 and this one,
Yep.
would the committee be happy that those are separate conditions because they do cover slightly different topics?
Yeah, we can add them as separate conditions, how they're numbered. Yep. Okay, then I think 10 and 11 are fairly straightforward and standard conditions in the circumstances regarding soakaways and fixed plant, which we don't have any other point with that.
Happy Chair.
Right, so that took us up to number 11. I think lastly, sorry, I say lastly, but from my own point of view, but I'll come back to members in case they want anything else to be added. A further condition, we think we've addressed most of the matters that people had concerns with. Now, although it lies out with the gift of this committee, I would like to suggest that wording is done that that a speed limit order shall be promoted on the C4 between the West Hall Terrace Junction C6 and Burnside of Duntroon prior to the operation of the facility. That last bit of wording is what I'm suggesting as the condition. So a speed limit order shall be promoted on the C4 between the West Hall Terrace Junction C6 and Burnside of Duntroon prior to operation of the facility. Now, that is out with the gift of this committee. It's actually the Council's Communities Committee that would deal with this, but this would allow Council and that committee to promote the concept of speed limit order, but it would allow the building and construction to proceed.
Convener, sorry, can I just clarify? I think that's the C6, not the C4. The C6 runs.
Is the C6 not the West Hall Terrace Road?
Yes.
So that's what it's referring to, is that the
Yes.
main...
So just to be clear, it's from the West Hall Terrace towards Burnside of Duntroon.
Correct, yes, yeah. And is that road...
Clarify the numbers later.
Right, okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, but we get where we're coming from. Basically from the site towards the West Hall Terrace Junction, from there on would be the speed limit order. So I'm promoting this assessing. So as I say, that would be for the Communities Committee to deal with, but would not restrict the build of the facility. And if the speed limit order could not be obtained, it wouldn't stop the applicant actually proceeding with the operation of the facility.
That's correct, Convener.
Good. Are members happy with me adding that as a condition? Thanks for that. Now, and have members got any other conditions that they would wish to add to the list that you've already got?
You've covered everything for me, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Clark. Everybody else is nodding. Okay, so we agreed the wording of each condition, as I say, and council officers will tidy that up, if you like, for these additions to them all. I suppose really in conclusion, there's a little bit to say here, but let me just bear with me a second. Yeah, so report 299 week 24 asks us to consider the proposed conditions as set out in the appendix to this report and determine to approve or amend if necessary. As we've now discussed and amended the draft conditions, are these conditions now approved?
Approved, Chair.
Approved.
All approved, thank you very much. Right, this now completes the duties of this DMRC, but I will, before finalising everything, I would like to summarise for the record the reasons for compliance in upholding the appeal, the reasons for compliance with NPF 4 and the Angus Local Development Plan 2016. So we've determined the review in the context especially of the National Planning Framework 4, whereby this is the most up-to-date policy document to apply in determining this appeal, and planning judgment must be applied. NPF 4, in terms of the overarching policies of NPF 4, Policy 1, tackling the climate and nature crisis, and Policy 2, climate mitigation and adaptation, we've taken a wider view of compliance with these. Development on greenfield sites and rural locations is not prohibited. Travel to cremations elsewhere will be reduced, and the development also proposes many sustainable design and construction features. The development is not located on prime agricultural land and thus complies with NPF 4 Policy 5 soils. NPF 4 Policy 9 brownfield, vacant and derelict land and empty buildings is complied with, as while the development is on greenfield land out with a settlement, this is permitted as the proposal is of a scale and nature appropriate to the location, and there are no suitable and available brownfield sites capable of accommodating the development. NPF 4 Policy 13, sustainable transport is not contravened as the development is not a significant travel generating use and has been considered alongside the desire to encourage rural development under NPF 4 Policy 29, given the particular nature of the development. Attending a cremation cannot be considered to be everyday travel, which reduces the applicability of the policy to the development. The proposal will be more accessible to more people as it provides an alternative facility and will reduce travel times and CO2 emissions. The proposal complies with NPF 4 Policy 14, design, quality and place, as the development requires to be in this location and is sensitive to the location in terms of its layout, siting and design. The proposal helps to address inequalities and will provide jobs, contributing to local and regional community wealth building, and therefore complies with NPF 4 Policy 25, community wealth building. In terms of compliance with Policy 26, business and industry of NPF 4, while a crematorium is a use in its own right, it's important to recognise that the development will provide jobs, there is no suitable alternative location available, and it is of a scale and nature which is compatible with the surrounding area. The proposal will contribute to the local rural economy and provide an essential community facility in compliance with Policy 29 Rural Development. Finally, on the Angus Local Development Plan 2016, Policy DS1, Development Boundaries and Priorities, is complied with, as although the development is out with the settlement, it's of a scale and nature appropriate to the location, no brownfield sites are suitable or available, and there are no adverse effects on designated sites. Policy DS2, Accessible Development, is complied with, as it is accepted the use is unsuitable for a town centre or edge of centre location, and is of an appropriate nature and scale for a countryside location. Policy DS3, Design, Quality and Placemaking, is acceptable and there is no detrimental landscape impact. Policy TC8, Community Facilities and Services, is complied with as the location is acceptable and the scale and design is appropriate to the location. It's considered that the proposal complies with LDP Policy TC15, Employment Development, because it has been demonstrated there are no alternative sites, the location is acceptable and there are no adverse environmental impacts. This now completes the duties of this DMRC. The appeal is upheld subject to the conditions just agreed by this committee. And I take this opportunity again to thank my fellow members of this Development Management Review Committee for the not inconsiderable time required of each of them to consider the almost 4,000 pages of representations, formal papers and reports. I'd also like to thank Council officers and professional advisors for their input provided to the planning and appeal process. This meeting is now closed. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop the live feed, please. Thank you.